This is the first time we've stuck our heads above the parapet with what we've been looking at. We've been working on this project for a year, and we're beginning to get some conclusions and some themes coming out of it. And so, what we wanted to do was start talking to the community about that and getting people's feelings back again and seeing what people will engage with. I better say what the project is, just in case people don't know. The HEFCE gave us £3.5 million altogether. The bulk of that money is being spent on outreach work, but a certain amount of it was given to work on what we do once we've done the outreach work and drummed up the extra students coming in, and you know, how do we then handle these extra students and maybe different kinds of students that we're getting coming in. I better say, okay, yes, before I move on, I better say I'm not the only person doing this. There's that's Mike Tomlinson, this is Mike Robinson, are the other two that have been working directly on the project. So we're completely interchangeable. You can talk to any of us. Okay, so what's our bit been? Well, it was put down as reviewing the higher education curriculum, mathematics curriculum, and I need to explain what we meant by that, because what we don't want to do is come out and dictate to people what subject matter they should be teaching. That's clearly not a matter for us to talk about. We were talking about it in a much wider sense than that. I'll explain a little bit about that over the next 10 minutes, and then in about 10 minutes' time, what we'll do is change it round to make this a two-way conversation. But maybe if I say a few words first of all. We are to some extent talking about content, but we're also talking about the way that we support students, the way that we talk to students about our subject and what kind of messages we give people about the nature of mathematics as well. So we're interested in the whole range of what we do with students, how we teach them, how we support them, how we arrange for them to learn, how we persuade them to learn, and so on. We've been working with questionnaires. We questionnared first years in 4 universities when they arrived. Since then, we've been running a series of interviews and focus groups, both with students and with members of academic staff from those 4 universities. They do provide, there are ex-polys in the group. There's a Russell group. There's another research intensive as well. So we think we've got a cross-section of the kind of opinions that people have about the issues that we're talking about. Okay. And this is the first time that we've gone public with some of the things that we've been finding from the people we've been talking to. There will be a lot more later. There'll be other workshops later, rather more dedicated workshops. We'll be producing written material, and there'll be a bit more. We'll be a little bit more public, a little bit more in public over the next year. There are other things that we're doing as well. We're looking at that. Every other subject seems to be working their way towards foundation degrees, FDSC type degrees. We haven't tried that in mathematics. We've only found one in the country, but we're looking at the possibilities there of whether there might be scope for more than one of those. And we're looking at routes for adult returners, and clearly we're interested in talking to the OU about that amongst other people as well. But for this bit, we want to focus on what we do as an academic community. Once we get these people in our hands, how do we handle them? So here we go. Because the nightmare is that these bright young things that we've employed on the project go out and succeed. So they bring us another 5,000 or 6,000 people coming to do maths degrees, and they're a different kind of people from the ones that you might be used to coming to do your maths degree. You know, we're getting the committed mathematicians at the moment, but we might be bringing in a different kind of person, somebody who, in fact, somebody who resembles a large part of our student body at the moment, but which we don't always put at the top of our agenda. So they go out and they get this wide range of people. They satisfy the widening participation agenda. We carry on teaching the way we've always taught, on the same assumptions that we've always had about what our students are like. Some of these new students have a terrible experience, as some students do now. End up finding out that the subject as presented is not quite what they thought it was, and go away with a really negative view of it and say, well, thank goodness that's over, I never want to see a bit of mathematics again in the whole of my life. And then you get your negative feedback loops. That's the nightmare. Let's hope that's not going to happen. And what we've been doing, and we don't pretend to be the experts on this, because in some ways we're looking to be kind of brokers, ways of getting people to talk to each other. That's why we're very closely associated with the network, obviously. But we're looking at how we teach students, how we support them, what kind of messages we give about our subject and about our attitude to the subject. And we've got some preliminary questions which are coming out from what we've been doing, which we'd like to get a little bit wider discussion about. There are three themes. The first one was to do with communities and support. How do we support our students? Because one of the key messages we've had coming out from everywhere is that if you've got a lot of enthusiasm around, a supportive atmosphere, and a feeling that you belong to a mathematical community, then that can be really important in feeling supported. So what comes out of this? Well, social groupings, possibilities for mixing between years. Something that is emerging a lot more now is the use of online networks. And so there's a whole load of stuff around informal and formal and different ways in which students get their support. A really strong message that we got was that the first port of call for their support was their friends. They go to their friends first of all. Increasingly, they go to Facebook. So there are really interesting things going on out there about where students are getting their support. And so there's room for discussion on the kinds of things that are going on in that area. And when we do break up and start getting the discussion going, we've got a list of 3 or 4 questions under each of these headings that we want to structure the discussion around.